carries a potential penalty of up to a year in jail and not more than a $4,000 fine upon conviction. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
You understand that you're entitled to a jury trial, you're entitled to an appeal, and did you waive those two rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
Have you ever been declared mentally incompetent?
No, Your Honor.
You understand that the court does not have to follow the recommendation when you give a plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what is your plea, sir? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty, Your Honor.
And are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, state.
State authors plead documents and offense report to State Exhibit 1, notification, certification, defense, right of appeal, State Exhibit 2, waiver of Article 39.14, disclosure of State Exhibit 3. State request defense counsel submit to the venue and jurisdiction of the son of a court. State would further request defense counsel submit the fact that all evidence which has been filed is sufficient to corroborate State's plea of guilty.
No objection, so stipulated, Your Honor.
Without objection, so admitted. It'll be the judgment of the court. The defendant is guilty as charged. And our recommendation, state?
State's recommendation is a $300 fine, court costs 1 year in the Hidalgo County Jail, probated for 20 months. Anger management by Mujeres Unidas, 30 community service hours. The defendant to have no harmful contact with the victim, Mr. Martinez, and restitution set to open.
I'm sorry, Martinez. What is the first name?
Gladys.
Martinez.
I didn't get it. Say it again. I didn't get it.
I have the victim's name is Gary Martinez.
Gladys.
I believe it's Gladys.
Oh, Gladys. I'm sorry, Your Honor. Gladys.
That's
Okay.
okay.
Gladys Martinez. Okay. And we need a restitution here, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Let me get one here.
Just a second.
August 2nd, 10 a.m. August 2nd, 10 a.m. for restitution. Meanwhile, he's done about 19 days in jail, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. We can lower the fine here to $100 plus court costs and also waive the community hours. And 1 year in jail, suspended in place on 20 months probation. Anger management, Mujeres Unidas. No harmful contact with Martinez. And then August 2nd, 10 o'clock for the restitution. Anything else, Mr. Guerra? Mr. Frank
No
Guerra?
further, Your Honor.
Nothing?
That's it. That's it from the defense, Your Honor. My only question would be if the judge could admonish the defendant to reappear at the August 2nd hearing, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Francisco Tovar, we have a hearing date for August 2nd, 10 a.m. for the restitution hearing. Okay, sir? We're going to find out whether there's any damages out there that were caused to any victims. We're going to find out on that day. Okay, sir? Yes, sir.
Can I speak?
Yes.
Okay, just a little question, 2 questions real quick. So I'm gonna get probation.
You're on probation, yeah.
Okay, and another one was, if you can, it's because they put me in Brooks County, Your Honor, and I just wanted to ask if you could release me from here instead of me going back to Brooks, or no?
No, I don't think, you don't think you're gonna go back to Brooks, no.
I'm not gonna go back to Brooks? Okay, it was just that question, and then just one more, sir.
Well, that's 3 questions already. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry. If I could have maybe a couple of months before completing the Mujeres Unidas, if I could go work up north,
Okay.
if it's possible, Your Honor. If not, it's okay.
Oh, okay,
That's it.
okay. With that, you take it up with the probation officer, okay? You ask that individual, the
Okay,
question
Your
we
Honor.
have, okay, regarding that. They'll give you some slack, okay?
Thank you,
Sometimes
Your
they'll
Honor.
report by mail, and sometimes they'll tell you when you can take those classes and so forth, okay?
Yes,
Your
sir.
Honor,
All right.
since the defendant brought that up, Your Honor, would the court waive condition 7 so you could travel outside
Right, yeah, that'll be waived.
of the county?
Yeah,
Thank you,
the
Judge.
restriction to the county, that'll be waived. But then
Thank you, Your
again,
Honor.
before he leaves the county, he needs to take that up with the probation officer, okay?
Thank you, Judge. May I be dismissed?
All right, you both may be excused. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes, sir. Well, yeah.
Brief recess. We're waiting for attorneys to load up.
Okay, we're gonna take a little brief recess, or we're waiting for some attorneys to come on board.
All right.
All right, court will resume with the July 19th, 2022 docket. And we have now on board here is Mr. Sergio Munoz. And good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Judge.
You represent Diana Raquel Salinas.
Yes, I do, Your Honor. She's currently in custody, Judge. I think the case that's set for today is the criminal mischief case.
Okay, it'll be a plea.
Well, Judge, I guess this is kind of the situation. She's not signed up for a plea, but basically where we're at in this with this case, Judge, is that my client was accused of damaging some property, I think, that belonged to her daughter, like a TV or something like that.
Okay.
The there's no restitution. There's nothing of that sort. The TV was already replaced. However, my client is not in agreement with the recommendation that was tendered to us. The alleged victim also did an affidavit of non-prosecution. However, the state obviously, wants to proceed further on it. She's been in custody since June the 11th, 2022. She does have an MTR that is pending, which is something else that we'll address at a later time. But for the case that we have here before you, I think that's kind of where we're at, Judge. So,
Judge,
yes.
If I may, due to the state having an AMP on file, the state will be tendering a dismissal in CR 22-05491D.
Okay, it'll be a dismissal.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. They were afraid of you, Mr. Munoz, just by
no, Judge,
by giving you the story. Yeah.
Well, that was
a powerful story you gave me there.
Yeah, well, and I think there was in full disclosure, when Mr. Guerra said, "May I?" I was about to tell him, "No, you can't." But no, I was actually talking to the previous prosecutor, which was Mr. Lozano. Of course, we were trying to get this thing, squared away. However, I'm sure Mr. Guerra saw it from a different set of scales of justice, and he was able to come to the right conclusion. So with that in mind, Judge, I'll just work on the MTR so we can get that taken care of. All
right. And at this point, you do not object to the dismissal, right, sir?
I was hesitating a little bit.
You want to think about it?
but I'm just gonna go ahead and put the
leave it to the court, okay?
Yeah, leave it to the court to decide.
Leave it to the court. All right, then court will dismiss CR 22-05-491D, State versus Diana Raquel Salinas. This case is hereby dismissed. That'll do it, Ms. Salinas. Have a good day. Thank you, ma'am.
And Mr. Guerra, I'll just go ahead and contact you so I can, take care of the other one that's pending on the MTR, and then we'll go from there.
Yes, sir. Sounds good.
All right. Thank you, Judge. May I be excused, sir?
You may be excused. Have a good day, sir. Thank you.
Your Honor, that's all we have for the females. May we be excused?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. You're excused.
Thank you.
We're waiting for attorney Rolando Cantu. But this one.
It's the same one.
Oh, waiting for attorney Rolando Cantu. He hasn't checked in yet, so we'll take another little brief break. Thank you so much.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the July 19th, 2022 docket. Next case here is Gary Joshua Rivera. I think he's the last one.
Yes, sir.
And I think Mr. Rolando Cantu is connecting. He's the attorney. And I believe he'll be doing both. I think there's two cases. I think he'll be doing both cases. Let me just get him on board. State, I think on this one, it looks like a plea on one, which is CR 22-02-438, and then potential dismissal on CR 22-04-308. Is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right. Now we need Mr. Rolando Cantu. He needs to unmute.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Cantu, good afternoon. Your client, Gary Joshua Rivera, has two cases. I believe it's going to be one plea and one's going to get dismissed.
That's what, yes, Judge. Our understanding, Your Honor, is so I represent Mr. Rivera on a motion to adjudicate. That's out of the 275th.
Okay.
He has one evading with the court. That's going to be a plea. And then he also has the assault. I believe the agreement, Judge, was that once he pleads to evading, they were going to dismiss the assault. But I think they wanted him to do an anger management course. So they were going to agree to a PR bond, I believe, Your Honor.
All right. Is that correct, Mr. Guerra?
Yes, Your Honor. I have.
You were skipping, Mr. Guerra. I didn't hear anything.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said I have.
In fact, you froze.
Am I frozen?
Bad connection.
Hello?
Okay. Yes, sir.
Yes, Your Honor. Because there's an affidavit of non-prosecution already in file, the state is ready to tender a dismissal in the assault case.
Okay, that answers the question we had earlier. Okay, very well. Where's Mr.
Perfect.
No, okay, Mr. Cantu. The plea is going to be on CR 22-02-438D. The evading, right, sir?
That's correct, Judge. But just to be clear, Your Honor, there was another lawyer appointed to that evading arrest. But I
Right.
can handle the plea if necessary, Judge.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we would appreciate it.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Okay.
See, you swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
You may put your hand down. CR 22-02-438D, Gary Joshua Rivera. Your charge here is a Class A misdemeanor, evading arrest. It carries a potential penalty of up to a year in jail and not more than a $4,000 fine upon conviction. You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
You understand that you're entitled to a jury trial. You're entitled to an appeal. Did you waive those two rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
Have you ever been declared mentally incompetent?
No, Your Honor.
You understand that the court does not have to follow the recommendation when you give a plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what is your plea, sir? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
And are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, state.
State Auto Speed Arguments and Offense Report, State Exhibit 1, a notification, certification, defense side of appeal, State Exhibit 2, waiver of Article 39.14 disclosures at State Exhibit 3. State would request defense counsel submit to the venue and jurisdiction of the Honorable Court. State would further request defense counsel submit the fact that all evidence which has been filed is sufficient to corroborate State's plea of guilty.
No objections, Mr.
Your Honor,
Rivera? I'm
No,
sorry,
we
Mr.
have no objection to the state's evidence.
Without objection?
Yes,
so
Your Honor, we
admitted.
have no objections, so we so stipulate.
Okay, thank you, sir. Without objection, it'll be the judgment, if so admitted, it'll be the judgment of the court that Gary Joshua Rivera is guilty as charged in CR 22-02-438D. Recommendation, state?
The state's recommendation is $100 fine, court costs 80 days, and the Hidalgo County Jail credit for 80 days. In exchange for this plea, Your Honor, the state would be tendering a dismissal in CR 22-04-308D.
All right, court will, on the plea, it'll be 0 fine, 0 court cost, 80 days in jail credit for 80 days served. It'll be a time served. And so on the remaining case, CR 22-04-308D, Gary Joshua Rivera, court will dismiss this cost number. All right, Mr. Flores, you came just in time. You're gonna receive a dismissal on your case, okay, sir?
Thank you, Judge. We're having internet problems over here. My apologies, Your Honor.
No problem, sir. You got a dismissal on your case, and there was a time served on the other one. So that'll do it, Mr. Rivera.
Mr. Flores had the time served. Mr. Cantu was a dismissal.
Oh, okay, it was the other way around. Okay, the other way around, Mr. Flores, yours was the time served,
Yes, sir.
and
Cantu stood in for-
Mr. Cantu's, and Mr. Cantu stepped in for you on this one, and
Oh,
then the
thank you.
dismissal was the other case. Okay.
Thank you, Judge.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. You and Mr.
Yep.
Cantu may be excused. Have a great day, guys.
You have a good day, Judge.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Goodbye.
That's it for Jill?
Yes.
Thank you, Jill. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Everybody comes back at 3 o'clock.
We'll come back at 3?
Yes.
All right.